Hey everyone, welcome back to the Anaheim Convention Center. Major League Gaming with the NALCS continues. Rivington III in chat here to bring you two more amazing games as we head in to burn the midnight oil on these matches. And if you've been with us all day, be sure you can check out Gunners, because I'm sure your eyes are getting a little tired. These players are wearing them as well. Head over to Gunners.com, the 15% off with the MLG Anaheim code. That's going to be free shipping around the US as well, so make sure you get those on. And we know the players like to use them as well.
Yeah, we've seen a couple players swear by these things. I know that Chaos is wearing a bunch of them. Dyrus still wears them. In fact, there's Dyrus right now wearing those Gunners. No way.
Wearing them right now. What are the chances, everyone? Dyrus rocking the Gunners for this matchup, and it's going to be a big one. A lot of people have been waiting for this game. Curse versus Team Solo Mid.
I've been waiting all day for this game, actually, because this is the first time I've been casting. I see this game. I recognize it's a chance for Curse to really turn their season around, and it's a chance for TSM to try and reassert some of the dominance they've lost.
Well, what are we looking for in Curse to turn that season around? Why would this be the time for them?
Well, mainly because Curse has done pretty well against TSM in the past. Edward is just another game that he's been in. St. Vicious as well recently is trying to really work on his leadership and how he's talking to the people on his team. And it's kind of do or die for Curse right now, because they're tied for last place in the LCS right now with Velocity, and that is not what they expected after picking up Edward at the start of the season.
You say last place in the LCS, the first thing that came into my mind was these guys, before Dignitas went on a bigger run, had the longest win streak, like I said before, Dig, in the spring split. And right now, it's communication, like you said, leadership. We saw Voyboy going 5-0 on Shen, but the split push calls were the bane of them in that game.
We look at the start of last split, and they were 8-0. The start of the split, they're 2-6. So Curse has a lot of work to do if they want to get back to that mark.
Games.
It's completely different. Not only is their competition getting better, but Curse just doesn't have the same synergy right now. And they, honestly, against MLG on a big stage where these guys have a lot of experience, against TSM, who they're comfortable playing against, is the chance for them.
And with the recent, swap of TSM, what they're doing, it really does come down to the communication. It actually was that picks and bans for them. Reginald wants to coordinate it so there's no discrepancy, and he just wants it to go down, and it is something that they have forced onto the team.
That's just another layer of Reginald's asserted dominance on his team. He's like, I can't even tell someone to do picks and bans. I have to do them myself. That's just the way he plays, because he's still a mid laner. He will still play mid. Maybe he'll go to a side lane. They haven't done a real role swap. They're just, in theory, role swapping so he can be at the top of the team.
Right, we still see them playing the same champions in their pools, but we've also discussed that they kind of had the same champion pool, so they can do kind of what Dignitas does and swap those lanes in and out. But we're into Champion Select. We're going to get these games underway right quick. Everybody here, thanks for chilling, and know it's getting late. All the other games are clearing out, but we got some more league to go, so stick with us.
Well, we're just getting started here because Curse vs. TSM is a marquee matchup right now, and I've kept me interested all day being able to wait for this one. I really want to see if Cop, in particular, is going to be playing an aggressive AD carry, or if they're going to go back to basics, because I honestly feel like when he's on Ezreal or Misfortune, Curse does really well because they know how to play with that, but they continually keep putting him on Vayne, on Draven, and not even to fault Cop, the team isn't good with playing at those AD carries. So whether or not TSM tries to push him towards that, or Curse pushes Cop towards that, we have to wait and see.
It's I don't want to say trial and error, but it's almost just his trial every time they're going in with this. And that's a very good point to make, is that Cop can play these AD carries, but it's also the team having to play around that new positioning.
Yeah, and with the bans already coming out, Nunu and Twisted Fate being banned for Curse, and Curse banning a lot of divers already in a sense, Lysandra, Karthus, Kennen. Those are three big bans kind of at Reginald. Curse itself is a team that loves to just dive and go in, which doesn't give Cop defense. He's not a AD carry who's used to being peeled for, and you can't just make a team of peelers out of nothing, which is, I feel like, what Curse has tried to do early on in this split.
And it kind of bolsters the fact where it needs to be more communication, because you've said previously, Edward leads by example, not the communication. So everything being reactionary in a fight doesn't make a team confident.
Absolutely not. And this Jace pick by Voyboy may be a good start for them, because that could still be a Jackie pick, but it's something that Voyboy has done either very well on or kind of not well at all in a typical Voyboy fashion. This is what Curse needs to do to get back to basics with that kind of pick. You pick Voyboy something he can carry on, and then the rest of their team comp should be about their individual styles and what worked for them in the earlier split.
See what they decide to pick out. I'm a little interested at the Twisted Fate and Orianna ban. It's not that Nyjack we'll just say he hasn't been playing up to par. It's not that he's playing bad, but he hasn't really been a necessary focus for any of the teams.
Not at all. Teams have been really calling out Nijaki a lot. And I feel like that's what TSM does right here, because not only did they ban out Twisted Fate and Orianna, two of the champions he's been playing the most recently, they've also picked away Ryze.
Yep.
Whether that's a top lane or a mid lane Ryze, it's not something Jackie can play anymore. So that really just would have left him Karthus. But guess what? Curse banned that out for Reginald's threat. So I'm not sure exactly what Nijaki's going to have left in his bag of tricks. Maybe something like a Lux, but that's about all they have left.
I believe he's thrown that Malphite down once or twice, knowing Nijaki for that. Yeah, right, we still have the Jace on the board. Saint, not so much of the Elise player that we know. It's not a champion that he really excels on, so that could just a hover over right now, but would probably get swapped around as well.
There's also a chance, because Voyboy's a pretty big Elise player,
right,
that Jackie is actually on the Jace in the mid lane. You can tell Curse is still taking their time with this one. They may not have expected targeted bans at Nijaki in particular. They were probably expecting more targeted Voyboy, because that's what most people fear when they're playing against Curse.
And that's a lot for Curse to show in the first 3 picks. That's a big hand to tell TSM what's happening and what they need to do about it. Dyrus ready to lock in, but it's Wild Turtle looking to hang on to Caitlyn.
And even though Draven is commonplace now in North America, it was really I'm a Cutie Pie and Wild Turtle when he came into the LCS who were the big Draven players. So I'd expect either an Ezreal or this Caitlyn to be locked in for Wild Turtle. If you remember Wild Turtle's first game ever in the LCS, when all the pressure was on, he got a pentakill with Caitlyn in his first game, so he knows how to keep his distance on that champion, and he needs to pick a safe AD carry against a team like Curse. In TSM's, I believe, in their defeat yesterday against Dignitas, they couldn't keep Wild Turtle safe because he was playing Draven and he wasn't able to peel back for himself. Against an aggressive team similar like Curse, the Caitlyn pick makes the most sense for TSM.
Dyrus flopping back and forth on the slippery Shen, the Rumble, and Soraka. We all love the Soraka, but he's not going to do it. The Rumble gets locked in. There's some good initiation for this team now to come in. From that, they're really formulating around the Elise pick and the Jace pick right now for these guys. We'll have to see what Curse can pull out of the basket.
It's just one of those kind of standard double AP compositions, but it's a very resilient double AP composition. Ryze and Rumble could kind of be referred to as AP bruisers, not AP casters, because they generally build a lot of tankiness into their builds if it's a Rylai's Scepter or if it's just Ryze's Rod of Ages and Frozen Heart build that we saw earlier. So they're a very strong team that could maybe take on a lot of Curse Dive from now and at least have a bit of survivability against the Shock Blast that are going to be raining down on them in the mid game.
Still waiting to see what jungler's being picked in. So with this Jarvan being shown, we definitely figure out a little bit more about compositions for Curse. St. Vicious in the spring season, we've noted quite a bit, was the one to have the most first blood, a hand in the first bloods for any team. And it was really a reason that Curse excelled so much. So it would make sense that communication is the bane of them right now. So we'll see locking that in as well as with Edward. I think really going on Sona for one of the first times here, if not the second, coming into the LCS. And
he's one of the most aggressive Sona players in the world. Likewise, Saint really started the trend of Jungle Jarvan in North America because the early skirmish game back then was big. It's even bigger now, and it's something that Curse hasn't really been able to keep up with, even with Saint Vicious playing a lot of Jarvan. So that pretty much tells us that the Elise is the laner, and that's the way we're going to see it for Curse. It's a very dive-heavy team with really no protection necessarily coming in for Cop. They're all going to be going in to a fairly hard to dive TSM composition with that last Nasus. Surprisingly, it's very hard to run through a Nasus.
All right, guys, we'll see how it works for both teams. Somebody's getting withered down, somebody's getting cocooned. We'll be right into the matchup in just a few minutes after this short break. Don't go anywhere. Team Solo Mid versus Curse coming up next.
Slow down, no. Can you feel it too? There ain't no stopping now. Feet off the ground, head to the sky. Yeah, wind by my side. You in my vision, directly we collide. You pull me in, I don't resist. Time seems to fly, but the clock doesn't tick. I crash into you, we both feel the hit. We both feel the way that our chemicals mix, and I wish that I just keep my eyes shut. Maybe this time will be enough. Without you here, I would never see the stars. I'm headed for you. Put on the gas. I'm coming straight at you, no looking back. You are my star.
All right, everyone, welcome back to MLG Anaheim. We are into the game. It is quite late, coming on 10 o'clock, so I need you guys to pump up your favorite teams. Pump up the rest of the crowds. If you are here to see Curse take this game over Team Solo Mid, let Curse hear you.
And Riv, I messed this one up last time, but if there's any TSM fans in the crowd as this is happening, let's hear you now.
And there were no wards destroyed even.
I didn't have to go,
All right, so locking down this, oh man, the chant to follow as well. I'll tell you what, it's soundproof. There's white noise in the booth. Oh my God, the hook on Edward. A lot of damage going out. The Spirit Fire completely separating the fight to start though.
And that was through the pink ward control the Curse immediately had in that brush, then TSM went and took it back. You can tell there's still the TSM faithful pulling in for this one.
Oh yeah.
Knowing TSM still hasn't shown their dominance they showed in the spring split, really need to come in here in the summer, specifically at MLG, and make this one count.
All right, we'll see what they can do. Pink ward to pink ward. The support wars are already starting in this matchup. 1 minute and 20 seconds in.
Well, there goes all their gold. That actually makes the ganking early game much more effective, and this probably helps St. Vicious more than it does the odd one. Over pink warding that brush, now that St. Vicious knows that they have control over that area in particular, means he has a lot more freedom level 1, and Jarvan is a better skirmisher and ganker than Nasus early on.
They still have that pink ward, but they really don't have too much control on the bottom side of their red, but no pressure there. They're going for the invade still.
And this is something that TSM has no knowledge on, and I don't think they're actually going to get caught out for any of this. This is a red steal that will only be countered if Odd One guesses to take Curse's red, but because they have no pink ward control in Curse's jungle, I don't think they're going to get any of that.
And we don't really talk.
X-Special actually might get in trouble here because he's going to ward the blue.
Looks like he will get in. We don't really talk about it too much, but the entrance of everyone right there from Curse told Team Solo Mid, we just got our red taken.
And X-Special is getting very bold right here. I don't think he knows St. Fish is in that brush. And
I don't think St. knows X-Special was there.
Yeah, that was weird, to say the least, and he gets away with it. No harm done, everybody.
One of those whoa moments. Oh my gosh, Dyrus, Jackie not even trying to go in on this one. Dyrus down to half health. That level 2 could be quite painful. Everybody remember, hashtag Team Solo Mid, TSM rather, hashtag CRS. Vote on Twitter. Those hashtags will update in real time on the screen, so make sure you get behind your team. We see Curse putting down the AD carry and support in middle. The odd one here to protect Reggie.
Yeah, I'd expect actually this lane to be extremely aggressive at Reginald. This is something Curse has always done when they're against TSM, is they put 2 people in the lane against Reggie because they know better than anyone how to beat TSM. It's by shutting down Reginald, and most teams aren't able to do it. That's why TSM's so dominant.
Coming in around the backside, they do not have the wards they need. They saw him come in, go to the Baron. He walked right through X-Special's wards, but they're really not taking any consideration into this. It's going to be some good damage. I don't know if it'll be a full kill though.
And all these summoner spells are up. St. Vicious is being very patient here. He's actually giving the Odd One time to roam around.
Maybe
Odd One is so good at counter ganking, as we saw yesterday in their game against Dignitas, and they might try to bait them into something here.
Oh, he plays him back on the toss.
Beautiful timing, and they turn around.
Oh my gosh.
Once Saint got knocked out of that combo, he had no damage left. That's all Jarvan has. That's actually why TSM was so calm, because X-Special is like, Jarvan's gonna come. If he does, I got you. All he had to do was wait for the flag to go out, start the flay, and there's no way that Saint would get there for the knockup. Brilliant play by X-Special.
Baited and outsmarted. 4 minutes into this game, they're going to be trying to get some wins and had to. The least in that top lane getting pressured. So we're going to have to consider that the AD carry support lane, as always, is going to try to draw that jungle pressure. We see the odd one wasn't able to go up to the top lane, but the communication there for TSM is you don't have to. So we're seeing that pressure come in. We'll see who St. Vicious is drawn to next.
I actually think St. Vicious might be drawn towards mid lane, but this bottom lane is a less passive version of the 1v1 farm fest we generally see. Dyrus and Jackie may both be going for some kills here. I gotta say, the just Fairy Charm start by Jackie is working out fairly well for him because he's harassed Dyrus completely down, despite Dyrus starting this game with a blue elixir.
Just trying to see these builds around. Nobody has even really gone back yet. They're still trying to fend off these lanes, get that second gank in, figure out what's happening. And the pressure is down from St. Vicious as well. There's no flash to continue his initiations. We see him just going to lane as well to soak up experience. He's got to get back. The odd one, 21-13, and he's also had lane presence, so he's quite a bit ahead.
Yeah, and Curse, even though they have the 200 goal lead, feel a little bit discombobulated right now as far as I can tell, because Saint had the one gank broken up top, went all the way bottom while the lane was already shoved up, not really able to make any plays, and just had to go and recall back. Meanwhile, they've stopped pressuring Reginald in the mid lane, saying that wasn't working by sending Cop into the top lane, and they're just kind of letting TSM do their thing. But with all that being said, it's a accumulating minion kill advantage because they were winning the lanes.
A lot of people going to see the odd one in the bottom lane now. How is this going to react for Curtis Voyboy, trying to push up that bottom lane, or the middle lane, I should say. And it looks like they're actually going to match up the AD carry lanes now.
And this will be very interesting between Wild Turtle and Cop, because if X Special lands that one hook, it could very well create something. Since Cops went with Cleanse and Turtles went with Barrier, if they're just butting heads and trading damage, that might actually give Wild Turtle the edge despite being the higher utility champion, just based on that summoner spell choice.
Yeah, there's no exhaust in there to stop him down. Wild Turtle's going to be in that fight instantly. Playing safe up top. X Special is just really coordinating this lane. We got to say, the support wins the lane more often than the AD carry just right-clicking. He is the one out-zoning. He is the one positioning so the CS can be had. And we're seeing, you know, Edward putting himself out front here. No real aggression towards the top lane, but the pink wards still helping them to realize, yeah, these are where the wards are. We can be safe in any situation.
Yeah, we spend so much time talking about the AD carry wards. By the way, we have a European and North American all-star support players laning against each other right now, and basically just battling with wards, because neither of those guys have put up big items thus far.
So we got the Doran's Ring coming out for Voyboy as he grabbed it before, just continuously knowing he was going to be battered in that lane, so he wants to be able to get his farm down, as well as keep a little bit of HP from that. Both lanes, all the lanes, I should say, very slow right now. Neither team is trying to really put their foot across the line. They want somebody else to make the mistake first.
Not at all, and I feel like Odd One is really just trying to hit level 6 and then go and take some objective control, because the ganks that St. Vicious has put off early in this game, trying to create that early game pressure that was so good when Curse was winning, it's been very ineffectual. TSM's been playing quite defensively in the lanes as well, which is, I think, what's giving them that little 400 gold lead until this aggressive move.
Oh, the flash! They're going to keep going in. The exhaust you talked about. Cop very hurt, but it looks like it's made it out. The exhaust actually used in that engage as well.
That was a lot burned by TSM, but it's probably worth it because now it's their action time. They recognize St. Vicious is nowhere close, and they're going to get as much damage onto this turret as possible while the wounded Cop watches.
It's more of a frontal attack, but we talked about it earlier. This is what Team Solo Mid did before. They hug you around your turret, but Cop and Edward actually making this a little bit harder. It looks like Wild Turtle can still grab it.
And they're trying to hold this because they have St. Vicious and Elise coming up from behind.
There they go, coming into the fight. Edward, can he get close enough? He's out of mana. Throws down the ignite. It looks like the first blood can come in.
Whoa.
The toss. Oh, he gets slayed out of it again. Expresso, why he's so good?
Well, that's why he's an all-star, because he can just shut down Jarvan. St. Vicious is so sad right now because he wants to gank that lane over and over, but X Special's patience and timing is shutting it down. Look out.
Caliber net the Draven ultimate. So
away.
they maybe actually, they did lose the turret. They don't have the minion wave. May have the minion wave coming up here. X Special, this is very scary. You got 3 in your face. Yeah, you might want to turn tail on this one. They're going to go for the turret.
Yeah, even though he could flay away St. Vicious at will, it's a little dangerous here as he's by himself. But Reginald is coming up from the back, full health and mana. They might try to get something here if he lands it.
Oh, he locks it on to Saint. The minions are there. He's got to, oh my God, he plays it again. Saint just got that flash back and he loses it.
Listen to the TSM fans roar here. To say it's standing room only right now would be an understatement because it is packed in here. That's an X Special TSM chant right there.
Yeah, absolutely. The all-star play is completely shining through right now. 3 out of 3 perfect plays for X Special, and this one escalated up to a kill.
That was the reverse one too, because it was
the fadeaway
on
that
his
Kobe
way
talks
out.
about.
On his way out, and then because all that
gosh.
happened, Odd One, with only the one early gank that he pushed top lane for the turret, is getting TSM another objective. This could not be a better start for TSM.
Nightjack, he's trying to make some moves. He needs to get this kill back for the team. The one attack and the
the shield!
The scrap shield too good, and the dragon goes to Odd One at the same time.
That was so close. X Special though gets flayed into a spider. Saint, is he gonna try again? He doesn't even want to go at him.
It's gotta be just a thought in Saint's head. He's like, my flag toss is almost useless when Thresh is around now. If X Special missed, there may be an inkling that Saint can hit that, but right now, he's afraid to throw that.
You could tell he was scared of invading that one because they recognized from the last fight that most of the summoner spells on TSM were down. And Curse could have tried to go in on that, but they had been losing so many engagements prior, they were just scared of it.
The fans loving it right now. Reginald to pick up this blue buff. Not even a lot has happened in the lanes too much. It's been so crazy. The top lane saw a lot of action, the turret went down, and then it was just the special show for a second, and now we're back in 10 minutes. The lanes have even, the AD carry drops to the mid lane as we see the top turret go down. So TSM, 10 minutes in, starting to open up the map here. The dragon pressure has already been, or the dragon control already given to them. It's just working out so far. And
now it turns to mid lane control, because that's what Wild Turtle and X Special are most focused on now. And likewise, you can see Curse is funneling up pretty much their entire team to that point, because since TSM's already taken 2 of the big objectives, when watching these games with the pressure teams that have been dominating kind of the world, it's the third one that really breaks a team. So Curse is really trying to prevent either another turret going down before Curse can get a turret or objective of their own. That's why they're putting so much presence and pressure on that middle lane.
Jackie looks like to go Beth. He just went back. He will find, oh no, go back for the second time, I guess. We'll see what items he gets, just stacking up the tiers. Stays, actually, they're gonna try to get something down to the bottom lane. Edward just on the backside. He does have the ignite. He does have the flash to start this.
Ignite him.
What are you doing, Reggie? You're gonna get, oh, wow. I don't think he realized that ignite was gonna be coming.
And that's why Edward brings ignite on Sona, for the surprise factor. Now Curse is gonna try to get that big objective for themselves as they're most likely losing mid.
That's a huge opening of the map as well. Both buffs get a little bit easier, and Curse loses out on the bottom, so it's been a dragon, the top turret, now the mid turret. Curse has yet to answer.
That is a fair bit of gold that's starting to stack up. Getting the kill on Reginald was very good though, because they're gonna shut him down his farming a little bit, but getting the kill onto Edward was unfortunate, because Reginald was being so aggressive onto Jackie that Edward couldn't wait to let the kill secure go to Jackie. He had to make sure he killed Reginald, otherwise Jackie was gonna die.
The ignite will bittersweet help. It looks like they get a good clear on this wave. Not too much damage gonna be coming into this turret. All they do at the siege, that's gonna help to about half health, but here comes Saint Vicious, again on the backside. We'll see what they can do.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they're able to get many mitts into TSM. TSM's being very mobile right now. Odd One is honestly farming a lot for a Nasus jungle, which is good for them since he's mainly just going and trying to help with the map pressure. It's making up a bit because Jackie versus Dyrus, that lane wasn't good for Dyrus. Jackie was actually doing a tremendous job 1v1. St. Vicious actually gets in on X Special, but can it get turned around?
Look at the box! The box slow! The damage! Oh, the ultimate there, not for Turtle. It looks like it was up. It is, and mana's not there though.
Yeah, he used so much mana trying to escape there. You could tell TSM was a little apprehensive about going in on that one because St. Vicious had went in with so much purpose that once he got pulled back, they're just like, wait a minute, do we really want to go in on this? Things have been going so well for TSM, they didn't want to risk it.
It's hard to make that decision mid-stride as well. Everything looks so good. The toss, we have a kill, let's do it. Even in the tri-bush though, there's so many just cuts on that fog of war. It's a very dangerous spot to engage. So like you said, smart move by Team Solo Mid there. 1-1 and only 3,000 gold back for all the action that we've seen. It's still a very close game. The discrepancy is about 10 CS to the lanes or 3 CS between some of them. So super close. The biggest one, like you said, Odd One just farming his face off in the jungle.
And for Curse to get back in this game, they really have to start getting some turrets back so they can open up the map instead of getting constrained to their own lane. Actually, Reginald can probably duel Voyboy here.
Oh my gosh, Voyboy goes strong. The frenzy goes on. The ignite's there. Can he get back into the...
look out!
The repel was there. The execute goes down.
I thought with the way Reggie was waiting in that brush, he was ready to fight. But man, we always underestimate the burst of Elise, especially at level 9, when that Q is maxed for both the ranged and the bite. And that's an opening that Curse needs to take to get some turrets, because every time Curse has tried to make a play on TSM, TSM's been taking a turret back.
Curse now able to grab this. They have to move. They have to activate something after those kills. They've gotten kills bottom lane. They weren't able to push the turret. That kill top lane, not able to push the turret. Coming in back onto this, find the other one from the backside. St. Vicious trying to walk out, but he comes back in to help Jackie. Jackie taking quite a bit of damage. Dyrus looks to make it out of this one safe.
Thresh.
With the scrap shield. The Thresh Express to save the Wild Turtle. Shells on a kill.
2-0 again for TSM, pulling themselves ahead in the kills.
Oh!
Almost gets them. It's really funny. I feel like Cobb uses that Draven ult like an Ezreal ult. Why is he not just playing Ezreal? Because that would have killed him.
It absolutely would have killed him, giving him a second to walk away. Dyrus definitely walking away with his teeth grit on that one.
This is huge for TSM.
Turret may go down in mid. They are repelling to the outside. It's going to be a bit, oh, Wild Turtle.
Nice.
He ignites there again for Edward. He does have, no, Repel's still waiting on a few seconds, and he's not going to go in. No more vision past that mid.
And that's flash ult down for Edward. It looked like a good opportunity, but this is Curse scrambling to keep up with TSM. Since they lost the previous fight, they needed to make a play just to save a turret. And since they had to expend the flash ult from Edward's Sona right there, that means they do not have it for future objectives like this dragon that just spawned.
You see with the Odd One, he is moving down towards the bottom lane. We have to remember the Odd One soloed that by himself as Nijaki was trying to get onto that bottom lane where Dyrus was. Dyrus was able to make it out alive in that engagement too. So the distraction game that Team Solo Mid has been playing is really coming out on top as well. 16 minutes in, they have found a way to break the kill score to 3-2 instead of that even, and they're still up 3,000 gold. That hasn't been moving too much. The deficit is the same.
And it's an absolute breaking point for Curse right now because it's 3 turrets to 0. So that's what happens when you're out 3 turrets. Since your lanes have to be so much safer since they need the turrets to defend themselves, there's no way Curse can really get up to that dragon unless they all committed this 5. But since TSM had been shoving up the lanes, Curse was back farming away with their lane, so that was just another thing that TSM was able to get.
This reminds me of very, very old TSM, where they hold their turrets all the way to the outer for like 30 minutes and just modify their strat slightly every time they needed to. Turrets all still stand in each lane, or except for the top lane, I should say. And the pressure that they're putting on everyone else has not even allowed them to group as 5 because they're spread out across the map.
And TSM's just walking through since they got that turret low before. They know Jackie. Jackie's been the most successful player on Curse this entire game. He's off split pushing. Curse is trying a triple push, and TSM is just going for an inhibitor turret.
Both are backing 8 seconds before we get Boy and Cop into this fight. I should say, Jace, they go in strong. Zay comes back. We're going to see Dyrus in. The repel goes off, and they're going to try to get this. Wild Turtle puts himself right into the fight onto Edward, making sure that support cannot be there. The Cop finally getting an ultimate kill, and it looks like the Owl makes it out alive. Dyrus to turn back around, and it looks like they may be able to trade this. Team Solo Mid didn't expect the back to happen that fast.
Cobb gets a triple kill, and Saint continues to try and chase.
Oh my god, he almost gets the kill on Saint, but the shield was enough.
That was such an awkward fight, and that was the breaking point for TSM. They were biting off a little bit more than they could chew there, really trying to punish Curse for that move. They did get the inhibitor turret, but let's see how much Curse gets back from that. A quadra kill onto a Draven right now. Let's see if Cop can make that count.
Absolutely ridiculous. Cop has just put himself 5 minutes ahead of where he was, and he needed that absolutely. Like you said, the Dragons going to Team Solo Mid just everywhere and anywhere. Now 6-4. That was a 3-2 just a second ago.
Here's the craziest thing though, Riv. After that quadra kill from nothing, Cop still has 100 less gold than Wild Turtle, because Wild Turtle has 5 turrets instead of 2 and 2 dragons, plus just equal farm. But it's the gold that matters, right? So Wild Turtle's no weaker than Cop and will still be able to fight after him despite that near disastrous fight there for TSM.
So the communication almost kind of biting Curse again there. They were able to pull back. Last time it was, Void Boy on the Shen split push. Definitely more communication that we're seeing for them to stop that. They did lose the inhibitor turret, but they came back with a big fight that shows TSM they can't do that.
Yeah, that fight was the best thing that's happened to Curse all game. That was them getting pushed around for the first 17 minutes and finally being able to repel some kind of TSM push. But they've lost so much. By the time Curse was able to fight back, they have now such an uphill battle after getting that quadra kill.
That's only the first few rungs of the ladder for them. They are still climbing until they meet where TSM is scaled to in this game, just from being that ahead. But still about 23 CS coming in favor of the Odd One in the jungle, but we haven't seen him be a gigantic impact in the fight yet. He's kind of been roaming around, like you said, more farming.
And it looks like TSM, instead of just farming, is going right back for inhibitor, because a 20-minute inhibitor really constrains Curse to their base. Since it's exposed, TSM's going in again. They have all of their ultimates up. Special's coming up in a few seconds, and they probably want to fight here, or they want Curse to go in on them.
So they won't have Void Boy. It could be the Odd One stopping him in the bottom lane. He does stop Void Boy, so Elise will not be here for the fight. This is a little different now for the 4-4. But oh no, the Odd One doesn't like the situation. He starts to run. I guess dogs don't like spiders.
Yeah, if Curse can hold off this inhibitor, they're going to go, but this doesn't look like a good fight.
Edward crescendos and plays himself to death. It looks like they're going to try to get Reginald. The Ignite goes down from Edward. They are blowing a lot here for not getting the too many kills. Finally, Dyrus falling down. Draven coming up with a kill as well onto him. Wow, Cop coming up big with a double from Reginald, turns it back around.
Crazy battle here, 3 for 2, and TSM still sticking around with Reggie and X Special while Voyboy fights Odd One.
This is this in-your-face strategy. Odd One, like you said, still going back. An inhibitor has gone down now. That 20-minute inhibitor has happened for Team Solo Mid.
And this has been a very action-filled game, Riv, because 8 kills to 7, even though TSM has killed 5 structures plus the inhibitor. Really, TSM's dictating the Curse and now making Curse react to exactly what they're doing. As long as TSM can shut down Cop and not let him run through their team, they're looking in a good position, but all the kills they're giving back with these shenanigans is leaving the door open for Curse.
31,000, we'll say 32,000 right now. 5 turrets to 2. But up in kills. Curse has found their way into the fighting phase. The thing they wanted, this team diving into the fray and getting all of that impact damage right off the bat, and having people like Jackie, having people like Cop to continue attacking that damage. Voyboy not looking too good. He doesn't have movement. The only movement right now is TSM down to Voyboy. It's going to be the Wither coming out soon. Locks him down. He doesn't have anything to jump to. A good amount of damage. What is Curse going to do off of this, though?
Yeah, Curse is actually going to try to run for a Baron. I think TSM will recognize this. How quickly can Curse get this Baron down? Because TSM now has a marathon to get back up there. Wild Turtle was still in base.
I think it's safe to say TSM is getting the "you have pinged too much" message on their screen, and they are heading towards the Baron pit, walking right through the minions in mid. These guys drop the Baron and exit stage left.
Voyboy with the sneak carry right there, creating so much annoyance in the bottom lane. TSM just wanted to stomp out the spider, but they forgot about the giant snake on the other side of the map, and that's what's costing them right here. That Baron buff will stall TSM out after they'd gotten the inhibitor and give Curse a chance to farm up to get more into their fighting phase.
And that Baron puts Cop 600 gold ahead of Wild Turtle now, so that balancing act that's been going back and forth just got one, and the seesaw just broke itself.
Here's another thing though, Cop has put that gold into a chain vest against Darius and Reginald, who are 2 DPSing magic damage champions. So he's probably going to be going for that Guardian Angel on Draven, so he doesn't have to worry about his positioning yet, but he's foregoing a fair bit of damage in that, and it's going to mean the rest of Curse, I guess like usual, will have to be dealing most of the damage since Cop is used to playing the supportive AD carries.
Dragon, once again, just going over to Team Solo Mid, something that, you know, in Season 2, they would have said, this is something that can cost us kills, we'll let it go and get the later ones. But now it's something they dictate in the game, they pressure and have for themselves. So far, all of those going down to them. It's going to put the gold lead 3,000 in their favor, still 5-2 in turrets. So everything has been skirmishes after the turret's gone down.
It's the type of game that TSM is playing. It's the skirmish match right here, because Saintfish has been running around. Odd One's been trying to keep the lanes pushed, and since Curse is always scrambling to either save a turret, react to a dragon, run and face off Baron, you're not seeing the 5v5 brawls that we used to become accustomed to. There wasn't a dragon fight in this game, and we're 23 minutes in. There may never be a dragon fight because that's just the way the game's been going.
And as close as this game looks, you look at Baron on Curse right now, they're using it to farm. They know they can't do much. It's going to be an uphill battle, as we said before, even with Baron on. They're fearful of TSM.
I mean, remember, Saint can't cleanly initiate onto X Special if he's going for that flag toss.
The back of his mind.
There's the fear, just the start of it. Voyboy could get in. It's Saint and Voyboy traditionally, when Curse does well, to just go in together, and Jackie's kind of a midliner, which is perfect for Jace. I just wonder if they're going to stop TSM from pushing down here, because it's a 5-man push that TSM's aggressing onto Curse, despite Curse's Baron, and Curse really has no answer right now.
Shock Blast not doing too much damage, and he's also level 15, the highest in the game right now to anybody, 14 on Reginald. Jackie's really not putting out too much of that forceful damage that you'd see from Shock Blast at this point.
Not really. It's because he's went for a Hex Drinker and also Mercury Treads.
Yep.
He was worried about dueling Darius and also the double AP comp from Reggie in this game. The more aggressive Jace build would obviously be like cooldown boots and no Hex Drinker, just straight to either a Brutalizer or a Last Whisper, and then you're just popping people. But Jackie's not at that point yet, so it's going to take a little bit more time. I don't know how that's going to work out though, since Cop will kind of hit his tipping point on Draven, not the best late game carry when compared to a Caitlyn.
Yeah, once Jackie gets to that damage, it's poke right now, so I guess it's all right. Or it's not the poke they're looking for, I should say, because they don't have that team to be like, oh yeah, we'll poke with you. So his damage isn't huge at the moment. It's going to help. Obviously, damage is good, chat.
The
right now, they're just slow going this until they get their items.
The Mana transform is obviously pretty big, but that happened several minutes ago for Nijaki. That's generally the power spike you see on a Jace, and it would have been great if Curse could force something within this Baron. They have about 30 seconds left, and they might try to force something now or hereabouts, but they're just not grouped up because there's so many open spots in Curse's defense right here. The TSM's moving around, and Curse is struggling to just kind of keep them all held up.
Looks like they're sitting just about 20 more seconds on that Baron, so they're not going to get too much more out of it. It has kept them safe and kept TSM off their back, so TSM's kind of walking into not a blind fight, but they're not really going to understand the damage right away. Dyrus getting hit up there. He doesn't realize it's Reggie on the other side. The repel is there. Straight, oh, the ignite was on. Takes it down.
That wasn't a good thing there for Curse. Reggie roamed down because Curse doesn't have good presence on the map. They had wards in the jungle, but it didn't alert Voyboy where Reginald was going to be coming from. Now the inhibitors respawn, but it is a 4v5, and I don't know if they can hold this one since their Baron is all gone.
Quite low timers. We see Voyboy picking up the home guard boots, the only one on the team, so he's definitely thrown that on, making sure he can assist, but they're going to be out of the base before that happens.
And that just means Curse is stuck in their base for even longer. Now TSM's running the roundabout to try and get the next outer turret down. This would be number 7 for them, extending their lead. Really, TSM did a great job of stalling through the Baron that they'd given up there.
Yeah.
They made the mistake, and they made sure they didn't follow it up with more mistakes.
It's always an easy thing to do and engage in a fight when you think you have the upper hand. Baron is not one of those things you want to do that to. So with Team Solo Mid in that mentality of really dictating the game, back to that strategy of let's have someone make a mistake and tweak our strategy to that. 9-8, they pulled the kill score back into their favor, but that has been only inching up so slowly. I don't think we've had a kill for quite a while until that Voyboy there.
No, it's been very slow since the Baron had been taken, because that's generally what happens in these games where TSM made the big mistake.
Yep.
And so often, like we were saying, you have kind of a want to just make up for that mistake right away. But that's the worst time to try to make up for it after you've given the team Baron. And that's why the game is slowed down, because Curse wasn't in a position after the Baron to initiate onto really X Special's Thresh. And then TSM maneuvered around the map and actually gained advantage while Curse had the Baron, which was very well done.
So a big portion of what's going to help St. Vicious and team here, that Bulwark being finished for this double AP squadron coming out of Team Solo Mid, they're really going to help Cop stay in that fight longer with that GA. Continues to build. It looks like he's putting in that attack speed as well for a little bit of sustain in the fight now, GA later. But you're right, they need to be able to get that in there. And once Saint gets the Bulwark, I think they'll be able to actually fight a little more.
And it looks like Curse is really looking aggressive since they know there's no wild turtle here. I've got to think about that Cop build a little bit, because it's almost like he switched ideas midstream. He was going for a GA, then either someone told Cop to build a GA and he's like, screw that, I'm going for a Phantom Dancer. Or someone saw him starting to build a GA and Saint was like, no, build a Phantom Dancer. It was one of those two things, because you don't just build a Chain Vest and then a Zeal. You want to complete one of those items rather than just building components, because it's much less efficient to do it this way.
Looking down at that scoreboard, a 5-1-1. Cop is sitting on 2 completed items, with that 1-1-4 Wild Turtle sitting on 1,100 gold and 3, or his own 2 completed items, but the 2 max damage for the AD carry.
Yeah, and it's kind of on Curse to initiate this one, but they don't have the capability of diving onto TSM because they recognize the gold lead that they've accumulated and kind of how poor the team fighting has been for them when it's happened, or even the skirmishes that have happened. What Curse is relying on is they're hoping to outmaneuver TSM like they did at that Baron again and again.
And they have really put their mark on Dragon. This is another one for them coming into the game. That stamp is there, the timer again is there, and it hasn't even been warded for Curse. It's not something they've thought about.
They haven't been able to get out there. It's been too dangerous for them. Another play by X Special, and this could be the fight.
You are a classy gentleman, X Special, but it's going to be Saint going in. The Cataclysm is down. That Aegis being on the team is helping so much, but it's going to be Edward taking quite a bit of damage, going down. 40 seconds in the Death Chamber. They turn this one around onto Reginald. A shutdown coming in for Voyboy. Some real good gold there. Ace in the hole to the backside. You always thought a broom was a good thing to kill a spider, but so's a bullet.
And Odd One spent this whole time just chasing down the Odd One. He wants to finish this kill while the rest of TSM pushes mid.
Oh, what an Odd One, you're being kited by a red buff. Stop this.
He's scared.
Stop this.
Can he get him?
Stop this. Stop this, Odd One. Don't do it. Okay, he's not going to do it.
Everybody calm down. TSM is winning the game right now. So they're going for the Nexus right here after the 4 kills.
Absolutely, they are in the base. Odd1 is playing that Void game in the top lane, but it's not Baron this time, it's the Nexus.
And there's Cobb trying to defend. I don't think TSM can end. I wonder if Cobb can get something here. Dodges that hook.
Getting that out. Cop looking for, nope, a bit more down. Oh, he goes for actually the throw burst. And the steroid, not enough.
Bleed?
Does he have the bleed? No, oh my gosh. Somebody get this guy a Band-Aid.
Oh man, after all the brilliant plays that X Special pulls off, he cannot mend that wound. And this could open a window, despite Curse getting destroyed so badly in that fight, to try another last-ditch effort. Maybe they can go for a Baron. It would be rather ill-advised though, considering X Special is just a support here with no gold value. But Curse almost has to do this based on their position.
They're going down front, they're going right down the mid lane. But wait, whoa! You guys don't have a word on this?
Mixed calls by TSM. TSM ran halfway mid and then back.
Odd1 sees it and they're like, hey guys, this is pretty big.
Here's the fight.
They're gonna dive in. The Cataclysm again under the back line. Saint gets bursted down very quick though. A good focus by TSM, but Cop is left in the back with Edward. They're shredding Team Solo mid.
And another outmaneuver there by Curse, because TSM had happy feet in the mid lane. They ran back and forth and didn't just rush for the Baron. If that was a clean 4v5 in the Baron pit, TSM would have rolled the floor with Curse, but Curse outmaneuvered him, turned around at the right moment, and got 3 kills after their base had been decimated.
We almost saw this coming once they got the magic resistance on the double AP team. It's always a lot harder. That front end burst doesn't do as much, and then you're waiting for cooldowns. The auto attack damage is not there for TSM. They have to get these guys down low before they do that again.
Yeah, Wild Turtle died so early on in that fight that he wasn't able to put out the sustained damage either. And here's round 2. This may be even more dangerous. It is, however, a lot of Curse, 4 members with no smite, and just X Special and Reginald trying to stop this one. That Baron's going down fast.
Ward after ward, X Special keeping him safe.
Reggie's going in!
They go, no, it goes to Void Boy, gets the execute down on the Baron Nashor. The kill coming in out of Reginald. Curse is gonna play this one slow. They know they have the upper hand.
There was no risk of St. Fitch's getting smite stolen there because he wasn't even at Baron.
Nope.
So that's what the Curse got at, no problem. That's the
Best
second Baron of the
solution.
game that Curse has been able to pick up here. And it just keeps them in it, barely. They've been getting crushed so much, but because they've snuck the Barons, they've had very good pushback team fights when TSM's really pushing hard, that they've just scraped their way to survival here and almost even the game if you look at the scoreboard.
Yeah, just that. It's 8-2 in turrets. How is there not more map pressure coming in from Team Solo mid? They're losing Barons. They've got every dragon. It's a little backwards.
Yeah, one of the craziest games of the season was last week's game between Cloud9 and COG, where COG had lost everything, but they kept getting dragons. This game is Curse losing everything, and then somehow they get Baron twice in 33 minutes. And now they kind of have to do this right now, since if Curse fights in their base, as soon as they lose a fight, the game is over. They have to turn something around. I don't think Curse can bank on getting a 3rd Baron.
And if this fight went bad, it probably would be the end of the game, but it'd be a tough push. There aren't many minions for TSM, but they do have that tank. If Curse goes down, they got to take down as many members as possible. That's obligatory to happen, but it's crucial in this point because it could be the last fight, like you said.
And Curse is really going to be focusing hard on Wild Turtle. He's building the full offense, Caitlyn, as he usually does, and those shock blasts are hitting for full damage.
He did get his last Whisper in. Like we said, it was a little lackluster before, but everybody's ramped up on Curse. Only a few level 17s left on this one. Saint's 16 now, actually over the Odd1 after these fights. Remember, Odd1 has always been up in CS, but Saint's participation in the lanes, the experience he has grabbed throughout the taxing that he loves to do, is really putting this team on top, and the level comparison is almost losing these fights for them.
And we know how hard that Curse wants to dive through TSM, so the Odd1's going to be as big a wall as he can possibly be, but with these Baron buffs, Curse has got to get rid of some of these traps before they decide to go in. They really want to take down this turret, and they could fight whenever. Saint gets pulled, this is going to start it!
Eyes on Wild Turtle, he gets shots onto Saint. Saint goes out, dives to the equalizer. Wild trying to get himself in a good spot here. Shots over the wall. It's going to be Odd1 trying to throw on the ulti and get the AoE damage in his area. Cop, oh, block! Edward, very nice job there. And they are able to get out.
Still just a 1-for-1, and the Baron is still regenning Curse. Edward is low on mana though, so he can't spam heal up with Sona. Everyone on TSM is getting some heals in the base, and they might look to repel this, but Curse really wants this turret.
There's so much to lose, but with Reginald down, it's such a chance that they have to take.
Looks like they're going to have to back away, though, just because of how healed TSM was and how low on mana, specifically Sona was. But that was a good sign for Curse, a strong push for them. They still have a minute left on this Baron, and they're going to try to pick up a few of TSM's buffs along the way.
Are they going to get Dragon?
The
Curse
first
gets
Dragon?
the first Dragon
baby.
of the game. 35 minutes in, Team Solo Mid not able to answer.
Well, this game just got real interesting.
Just a tad.
Just a little. You get the best games this weekend. 8 turrets to 4. That turret just now makes the gold 500 gold different. And considering how one-sided this seemed to be for TSM early, Curse has come storming back. There was the game yesterday, Riv, with Curse and Velocity, where Curse seemed to have it in the bag. They lost a few fights near Velocity's inhibitors, and then slowly but surely Velocity came and rolled it back. Curse is trying to do the same to TSM right now.
This is one of the most dangerous points in the game. That last fight is a rush down middle. It doesn't matter that there's 4 turrets that Curse has grabbed. It matters about that highway they're about to run down to get home at TSM's Nexus. So these fights, absolutely going to tell the story of the game once it happens.
And there's a double Guardian Angel on Curse right now. It's very debatable whether that item is still usable sometimes, because it used to be the best item for late game. It was substantially hurt in Season 3, and it will give them the revives, but they don't have the damage output that TSM's gonna have. So if we compare a Cop to a Wild Turtle right now, Turtle's gonna be doing more damage, but Cop may come back at the end of the fight. The question is, will it matter when we see the big clash, which I feel like at 36 minutes, we're about to.
That 36-minute clash has the 80 carries just about equaling gold. They are going to be spitting out so much damage. Like I said, kind of focused on them the last fight. We may do it again depending on how the situation really goes. But it is going to be a hard fight to focus on. There's going to be a lot of jumping around, the repelling, the gap closing, and it's going to be big. Nijaki, like you said, that Guardians and Cop, so the positioning of the team can be a little bit more chaotic for Curse now.
Yeah, they can try to do whatever they want, but in that last push, they never got the inhibitor turret down, so diving through is incredibly dangerous for them, specifically because they want Saint to do it, and Saint is getting blown up in some of these fights.
Looking to make a move. They wanted to start that fight, but walk right over that ward and Hatchet, special just on the outside. Looks like he kind of wants to squeak his way in and get another one down, but they are just blocking that back end. It's this turret that's down behind you. You can almost get flanked.
And Turtle is getting crushed down by Nijaki's Shock Blast. It's continually making him having to go back to base, and Curse is chipping back at TSM with the long-range poke from Nijaki.
Consistent aggression now coming from Curse. They found a way around Team Solo Mid, and really Team Solo Mid was going very Cloud9-esque in the beginning, just in your face, fighting all the time. That's what they love to do, and it seems like once Curse won that fight right in front of the base, they took out a few, and then Voyboy tricked them in the bottom lane. They said, yeah, we're completely going to outplay them on this.
And what happens when you slow that strategy down? Because what TSM was able to accomplish was very strong early game team fighting with Reginald and Dyrus, and the odd one just kind of keeping pressure up to create that. But that team composition that TSM has right now doesn't have very, like, the strongest of initiations or tower diving.
Right.
So for them to actually try and end the game, now that the team fighting is close and Curse has managed to catch back up on gold, thanks in small part to the 2 Barons they were able to sneak, makes it very difficult for TSM to end the game now, since their initiation is not reliable.
Equalizer is pretty much an open book for an initiation. You can just walk out of it if you want. Everything, it comes down to that having to be perfect for the Team Solo Mid initiation, and that's really a niche you don't want to be in 40 minutes into the game. They are trying to activate on this one. The net goes down, he gets prisoned up. They may just want to, why did they stay? It's special, going down after Reginald gets hit up to the skies, and welcome to the Slam and Jam. It's going to be Voyboy and his team trying to pick up more kills. The double kill for Cop, and the run through the base.
And these are really long death timers right now, Riv. Curse has everybody alive right now, and a minion wave coming up. They might look to try to end this game against only Dyrus and Wild Turtle.
They have great damage for taking down turrets with the squad they have up. 2 are down, 31 seconds on the shortest timer, and that's special. Not exactly the best siege stopper. It looks like they're going to be going for this turret. The first Nexus to go down, and the second one will fall.
Turtle goes down!
Oh my god, Turtle didn't even last 2 abilities. They continue on to the Nexus turret. Curse is definitely turning around their momentum this season.
Not only did they turn around this game, but that comeback could turn around their entire season.
An absolutely amazing showing by Curse. Knocked down multiple times, thrown around and put to the side, and they came right back to the front door. when it was open, they didn't let their foot get kicked out of it.
Fans started standing up after that game, and it's so perfect for Curse because Velocity did the same thing to them yesterday that Curse just did to TSM. The from their deathbed comeback, rushing through, getting the clutch team fight at the end, and then just pile driving down that Nexus.
I cannot believe how amazing these games are at MLG. The crowd is fueling so much of this energy, so much of the fact that yes, it can still happen in these players, and you could see it on the face of Saint. Look at Liquid in there, and a super happy team manager right now. These guys, you could say they're on cloud 9.
They could be. Need a new name somehow. Look at the scoreline right here, though. Cop 11-1-5 on Draven. We're saying Cop may need to go back to other AD carries, but he had a Draven game to prove that he should be playing Draven this time. The quadra kill when they were trying to repel them from the base, and then just continued to pressure down with the rest of his team, running with Curse, not worried about getting dope, building that Guardian Angel, and just mowing down the TSM lineup.
5 dragons, pretty much, all to yourself.
Yeah, it was 8 turrets to 2 at one point.
8 turrets to 2, and that's actually when they had the best fight in front of. They lost the inhibitor turret, but said, we're gonna win this fight, and then the game.
And then they just kept on doing it. It was a great comeback there by Curse. They were the comeback kids in the spring split. That was a hell of a comeback.
That is absolutely true. Cannot believe these matches are happening. We still have one more match to go here before MLG Sunday kicks off tomorrow. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We are gonna have Coast versus Velocity coming up next. Some amazing matches. I believe we'll have an interview as well. If we don't, because the night is so short, we're sorry, but the VODs will be up at MLG.tv 30 minutes after, so